This is VOA News via remote. I'm Tommy McNeil. Pope Francis, from his balcony in St. Peter's Square, offered prayers for the people who died in the Halloween crush in South Korea.
E preghiamo il Signore risorto anche per quanti, soprattutto giovani,
saying that we pray
sono morti
the risen Lord, also for those, especially young people who died last night in Seoul due to the tragic consequences of this sudden crush. Earlier, South Koreans mourned and searched for relatives lost in the hell-like chaos that killed more than 150 people, mostly in their 20s and 30s, when a huge Halloween party crowd surged into a narrow alley in a nightlife district in Seoul. It remained unclear what led the crowd to surge into the downhill alley in the area on Saturday night. Witnesses said people fell on each other like dominoes. One witness said she performed CPR on 10 people who were unconscious, mostly women wearing witch outfits and other Halloween costumes. 9 of them were declared dead on the spot. Nearly two-thirds of the 153 people killed were women. At least 60 people died, and many are feared injured after a century-old cable suspension bridge collapsed into a river Sunday evening in the western Indian state of Gujarat, sending hundreds plunging into the water. Authorities said the 19th century colonial-era bridge over the river in the state's Morbi district collapsed because it could not handle the weight of the large crowd as the Hindu festival season drew hundreds of people to the recently opened tourist attraction. The bridge had been closed for renovation for almost 6 months and was reopened just 4 days ago. It was not immediately clear exactly how many people were on the 760-foot-long bridge, but officials fear the death toll could rise. There's more at voanews.com. This is VOA News. Russia resumed the blockade of Ukrainian ports Sunday, cutting off urgently needed grain exports to hungry parts of the world in what U.S. President Joe Biden called a really outrageous act. Biden warned the global hunger could increase because of Russia's suspension of a UN-brokered deal to allow safe passage of ships carrying grain from Ukraine, one of the world's breadbaskets. Biden spoke hours after Russia announced it would immediately halt participation in the grain deal, alleging that Ukraine staged a drone attack Saturday against Russia's Black Sea fleet off the coast-occupied Crimea. Ukraine has denied the attack, saying that Russia mishandled its own weapons. Somalia's president says at least 100 people were killed in 2 car bombings at a busy junction in the capital, and the toll could rise. President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud told journalists that nearly 300 other people were wounded in Saturday's attack, the deadliest in Somalia since a truck bombing at the same spot in October of 2017 killed more than 500 people. The al-Qaeda-linked al-Shabaab extremist group has claimed responsibility. The group has been angered by a high-profile new offensive by the government that aims to shut down its financial network. The Associated Press has learned that the suspect in the attack on U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was carrying zip ties. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn.
Suspect who confronted 82-year-old Paul Pelosi early Friday inside his California home, beating him with a hammer, came there with zip ties. That's according to an inside source who spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. Zip ties were visible on some of the attackers who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. In another parallel to that attack, police say suspect David DePapi broke into the Pelosi home asking, "Where is Nancy?" The same words uttered by Capitol intruders who threatened the speaker. DePapi will be in court this week on charges of suspicion of attempted murder, elder abuse, and burglary. Mr. Pelosi's recovering from surgery and multiple injuries. Jackie Quinn, Washington.
Iranian students clashed with security forces at universities across Iran on Sunday, according to Iranian state media, as videos showed security forces firing tear gas and live ammunition at the students. Sunday's violence came as the nationwide protests gripped the country despite threats that the country's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, the Guard's chief, had warned young Iranians that Saturday would be the last day of those protests, first sparked by the September 16th death of Mahsa Amini in the custody of the country's morality police. Clashes escalated in a university in Tehran, where Iran's semi-official